Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brad, and welcome back to Screamin' Pirate EDTC. Today we have another plunder or plank. Before we get into the knife, go ahead, head down to the description, check out those affiliate links, and I will have at least a link to the maker of everything that I have on me today. But what are we taking a look at? Today we have the Arcane Design Praetheon. Now this is the prototype from Israel, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at it and let's get into it. All right, guys, so as per usual, we're going to have some stats pop up for you. Not really going to go in depth with those just because, you know, seeing something is going to help you a little bit more than me just spilling out stats. So let's go ahead and have a close-up of the Praetheon. Really take a close look at this knife. You are going to get dual thumb studs, and it is basically a liner lock is maybe the best way to describe it, and you are getting a front flipper. Now, this pocket clip is also reversible. Very cool. And with the liner lock, it means it is lefty friendly. So now that we have all that out, let's do some size comparisons. Up first, I think the most appropriate one is going to be the other Arcane Design in my collection. This is the Crawler. Now, as you can see, this is smaller than the Crawler by a significant margin in hand specifically. But overall blade, you're really not looking that big of a difference, but obviously very different designs. After that, what I consider to be, you know, part of that designer setup competition is going to be a Vero. But what is the most similar? I would say a Vero. I believe this is the Synapse. There you go, guys. Drop points, very similar in overall size. If you like the Synapse, you just might like the Praetheon. After that, I want to do another designer knife that just got out to people's houses, and this is going to be the Mini J-Cape. So as you can see, it is bigger than the Mini J-Cape. After that, let's take a look at the Brian Brown, not the Jaeger, the big popular one, but a drop point. Let's take a look at the Raptor. So there you go, guys. Surprisingly similar blade length. Okay, good stuff there. And then lastly, I think the knife that is also very close in size, and there will be a review very soon of this. This is going to be the Ware Knives Wolf P prototype. And these two are very similar in size. Well, there you go, guys. There's all the sizes. So now that we have all that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about my feelings on the knife / what I think. So first up is ergonomics. How does it fit my hand ergonomically? So I wear a large glove, okay? And we're going to go ahead, show the knife. There you go. So into my hand, I completely fill out that handle, okay? Completely fill out that handle. This forward finger choil is not quite big enough for my finger. Now, I don't really have big fat fingers. I have more slender fingers, and I am having a hard time with that choil up there. It is very hard for me to get an index finger onto. I am barely getting, I would say, half my index finger up on that choil. So if you have bigger than a large glove, your hand is not going to fit this knife, okay? I want to go ahead and let you know. After that, deployment. How do the deployment methods work? Do they work well? So first up, we have our front flip. Nice and good. Didn't have to flip my wrist at all. There you go. After that, let's do a reverse flick where I am going to be accessing this little cutout and not the stud. I can do that as well. Let's go ahead and try the stud. Just as good. And then on your thumb, when I put my thumb on that stud, oh, gonna misfire that. There you go, guys. Nice and good. Now, with that being said, how is my access for the lock bar? It's one of my gripes outside of the forward finger choil. That lock bar access is, or I should say liner lock access. There's not much there. He is going to be adding jimping. That is one of the changes to this knife, okay? So that will help a lot because as of right now, my finger does get pinched sometime. As far as detent, detent is kind of hard in a multiple deployment knife, but it's nice on the thumb. It's nice on the front flipper. And if I have it in my hand and I just, it doesn't come flying out, okay? So I would say the detent is probably a medium, between light, medium, hard, but it's not gonna fly out if you shake it. After that, chamfering is good. All my edges are nice. We can go ahead and do a close-up, and everything feels nice and rounded, the way it should be in a production knife, in my opinion, guys. So that is good there. Torx bit sizes. Let me go ahead and grab a Torx driver so I can tell you exactly what sizes I'm looking at. So I use Weehaw bits in my Amazon store. There is a link. Let me go ahead and grab, this should be T8s, and then those are T6s. I believe that's what we're looking at. Pivot is a T8. And then our body screw, let me go ahead and try the other side, is also a T8. I like to see that. T6s, sometimes you can strip out those screws. T8s are less likely to strip. So that's great. We have T8s on the body and on the pivot. Fantastic. This is going to be a flat ground knife. It could have been hollow ground. I don't know that it really matters with a flat grind this tall. I think it's still going to be thin enough behind the edge for cutting purposes. As far as your blade shape, you have kind of this drop point semi-harpoon, I guess, or swedge at the top. I really like it. It's a very functional blade shape, but also has some style. Lastly, in and out of the pocket. Very easy just because you are looking at a liner lock, so you don't have a lock bar, that's catching on your pockets, and righty and lefty friendly. That's super cool. I really like that a lot. All right, guys, we have all of that out of the way. Let's go ahead and check out the final conclusions. All right, guys, so we checked out specs, size comparisons, and my thoughts on the knife and all the kind of like little aspects that most people look at there. Now, look forward to all of those aspects in upcoming videos. I will be talking about ergonomics and deployment and detent, etc. in all my upcoming videos. With that being said, do I like the Praytheon? If he adds the jimping to the lock bar, like I said it would, and if we can get this finger choil a little bit bigger, I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm really worried about it fitting if that doesn't be extended out there. That finger choil isn't extended, it's not going to be super comfortable in a lot of people's hands, in my opinion, because I know it's not in a large glove. The one thing I forgot to mention is with that detail and closing, that's up on the ramp right there, guys, okay? One little shake and it closes. That closing action is really good, especially for a knife of this size. If this is the same action in the G10, phenomenal. Now, with all that being said, the pre-order for this knife is already ended, okay? I'm gonna have the dates up on the screen, but there was an option to pay half now and pay half later, or pay full, and there was a G10 option. So this is a budget-friendly knife. I think on the budget end, phenomenal. I think this is gonna be a killer knife in that budget end. I think in the $300, $400 end, it's good. I don't know if it's gonna be Jaeger good. I'm gonna put it that way, okay? Jaeger and Renegade EDC good. It's very good. I don't know if it's quite there. If the changes I mentioned are made, this knife is a plunder. But if they are not made, this knife is a plank. So there's a lot riding here on whether or not the changes are made. With that being said, guys, hopefully you check out Israel's content and mine over on Instagram. Links are in the description. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.